Good morning, all of you. So in today's class, we are in the chapter wave optics. So let's go for few more numericals related to YDC and the other some interference in thin films. It's like already the chapter got over. We'll just try to explore the different types of small thinking based numericals. Okay, let me take you to the screen. Okay, now we'll begin with this. I just picked up few numericals where small objective based numericals is what I picked up. Okay, let's read this one. Two coordinate sources S1 S2 are kept on a horizontal surface at corners of a wooden frame as shown. A screen AB lies on the same surface. Find the number of maxima that are formed on the screen. Okay, this is screen and this is that plane surface and two coordinate sources S1 S2 are kept. So this is a wooden frame. So why that wooden frame I'm telling? So the wooden frame will block the light. So there won't be light permitted in the direction. So the light emitted by source so can reach only this part of screen from here. So I think let me give some time. So look at this and try to analyze. It's a large screen. What is the screen? So let it be large screen. I'll write it here. So it's a large screen. Then, okay, now it's asking find the total number of maximas that are formed on the screen. Okay, now let me begin with this. The light emitted by S1 and S2 can reach okay, see now this will be so what can be path difference between this is 10 lambda. So what is the path difference of the rays reaching from S1 S2 at this particular point? Let me write in some other color. 10 lambda. Somewhere here will be 9 lambda, 8 lambda, and so on. And somewhere at a point on a screen where the path difference of the rays reaching the screen may be equal, we'll get 0, 1 lambda, 2 lambda. So some rough exact position I2 we have to work out. 6 lambda, 7 lambda, 8 lambda. Okay, fine. Where S1 O equal to S2O. Then what about the other point? Finally, look at this one. So what is the path difference between them? Should be 10 lambda. So path difference of the rays reaching at point B will be 10 lambda. Why not, sir? Why you are not going for here? Say that this wooden frame will block the light coming from S1. The light from S1 can reach only till this particular point, whereas the light from S to S can go to the other part. So for the interference fringes to be noticed, we need two different waves where there is a path difference. Only the light from S2 can reach all points on a screen, where the light coming from S1 will will be from point B to point A. What's it? Okay, let me write from point P onwards to till the other end of the screen. So here open the light coming from S1. So like this light here, like this will be blocked by wooden frame. So the light will not reach here. Okay, got this idea? No, this will be 10 lambda is what I started like this. Let me readjust all. It'll be easy. Okay, got it now. And now what is the path difference at some further part of the screen here? The light coming from this and the light coming from this almost at infinity. what we get here as 8 lambda. Then what happens? 7 lambda, 6 lambda, 5 lambda, 4 lambda, 2 lambda, lambda. So count how many maximas are there on the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, that's 3, 2 lambda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. Okay, anyway, like a 0 plus 8. The 0 also you should count is also a maximum where path difference is 0 lambda. Then here 10 is there. So total how much it will be? 19. Here we have 10. Below O, below point O, there'll be 10. Above O, there's 8. So total number of maximas on screen, how much will be? Total number of sorry, 19. Huh? Okay, these are some problems. May not be related to YDAC. Just basic like a interference concept is what is trying to test you here. Okay, let me take the next problem. Now again. So the two coherent sources emit light of wavelength lambda separated by distance 3, 7 lambda by 2. Find the number of minimas formed on the line AB, where this distance is very much greater than lambda. First, what will the path difference? Here it will be 3.5 lambda. Let me go for thinner pin. 3.5 lambda. Next, what do we get? 3 lambda. And somewhere the path difference will be 0, where at infinity. Similarly, on this side, 3 lambda, 2 lambda, 1.5 lambda, lambda. This will be at infinity. Okay, got this. So how many find the number of minimas is asking. There's a minima. There's a minima. Let's count. Total number of minimas are 7. The number of maximums also you can count it. So I'm just asking the number of maximums will be how much? This 3 lambda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 8. Total number of minimums. Total number of maximas will be or along the line AB. Okay, there's some very good question is there. In YDAC, the distance between the slits and the screen is 1 meter. Separation between the slits is 1 millimeter, and the wavelength of light used is 5,000 nanometer. The distance of 100 maxima from the central maxima is okay. That is something is trying to test the basics of the YDAC. Okay, these are the two slits. a monochromatic light of wavelength lambda will be incident. The distance, okay, we know all this one. So let's do one thing. Number of maximas will calculate. That is d by lambda. The distance d 1 millimeter, lambda is 200. The number of total number of the n max means the 200th maxima will be here. And similarly below the screen, symmetry no, because here also 200. Where do this will be at a distance of infinity. This will be central maxima, n equal to 0. Now it's asking that 100th maxima, the position of 100th maxima. So how to calculate that? Let me take this as theta. So what should be the path difference of the rays arriving there? Should be equal to delta x equal to d sine theta. So that should be equal to 100 lambda. So we know delta x equal to d sine theta. And this should be equal to n lambda. So this should be 100 lambda. So the calculation of this will be lambda is 5000 into 10 to the power of minus 9 d into 1 to the power of 10 to the power of minus 3 will get sine theta. Okay, 10 to the power of minus 3, 10 to the power of minus 6, 10 to the power of minus 6, 5. So sine theta will become 1 by 2. Then if sine theta is 1 by 2, so we should get the tan theta is asking this distance. Sine theta is 1 by 2. How much tan theta will be? So we'll calculate the tan theta. Sine or simple. Why all this? Sine theta is 1 by 2. So theta equal to pi by 6. Tan theta equal to y by d. So tan pi by 6. Y equal to d by root 3. Tan pi by 6 will be 1 by root 3. So y is equal to d by root 3 it will come. So when you substitute the value of y all, so 0.577 meter. This will be our answer. This will be the location of 100th maxima. Simple idea where student has to really go back to the small basics of the YDSC. Similarly, the 100th maxima will be here because the pattern will be symmetric about the axis. Okay, if the screen starts moving, what will happen to the different orders that one? So these are the central maxima. I'm just indicating some colors. Okay, with what velocity the different orders of maximum will flow. So let's get into y equal to n lambda capital D by small d. The d is what variable. So instead of this capital D, let me write x. Now dy by dt should be equal to n lambda small d dx by dt. dy by dt is the y component of the velocity of the different order fringes. And dx by dt is what? The velocity of screen. Vy, I'll write it. So will all, what is the state of central magma? Central magma will be at rest. What is the velocity of this one? Okay, next velocity of the next fringe. Vd2, Vd1, Vb1, Vb2. So velocity of the different orders, the velocity of the first bright fringe should be equal to lambda u by d. Velocity of second bright fringe, 2 lambda u by small d. Then similarly, the position of velocity of dark fringes is given by velocity of bright fringe. Let me write. Similarly, velocity of dark fringe is given by 2n minus 1 lambda u by 2d. So Vd1 should be equal to lambda u by 2d. Velocity of second dark fringe is given by 3 lambda u by 2d. So different fringes will have different velocity. All the fringes will not have same velocity. The different fringes will be moving with a different velocity. These are velocity of bright fringes. Velocity of so what is this equation? Velocity of dark band, instead of fringes, better write bands. Velocity of bright bands, dark bands is given by this particular equation. Okay, no? What is the state of central maxima? Central maxima will be at rest. Got the idea, no? So the different bands will have different velocity. And how they'll be moving? They'll be moving away from the axis. Their velocity will be directed vertically here. Even the same thing for the lower. So this will be Vd1. So the different points, the different bands will have different speeds, and how their velocities will be directed perpendicular to the axis. Velocity of dark bands directed perpendicular to axis. Okay, no. So if it some many SHM conditions, so many things are there. Just you should have an idea that one, or maybe screen fixed. Screen is fixed. If the slits will move, then also the conditions are same. A monochromatic source of light of wavelength lambda kept on axis is given a velocity u along a direction normal to the axis. Find the velocity of central magma is asking. Okay, this particular source now having wavelength lambda. So what is telling it will be given a velocity u. At that instant, it's asking what is the velocity of central maxima. Okay, prior to this, go back, like if a source is not on axis, if source is not on axis. So what is the basic methodology? If source is somewhere here, so let it be at a distance a. Let this be this distance. Let me give L. Where the central maxima will be here. Okay, the ray is emitted by the, let me take the right color. Fine, so the ray is emitted by this. So we'll write expression for this one. So now what is U? U is dA by dt. dA by dt is what the velocity of the source it will be. What is A? Let A be the displacement at any time t. After certain time t, this is at t equal to 0. After certain time t, the source will be at a certain height from the axis. So dA by dt, the rate of change of displacement, should be the velocity. So dA by dt is what should be the velocity of the source. Then as the source ascends up, the center of mass will descend down from the axis. There's a general idea already in the previous classes we have discussed. Now what is asking, get the velocity of center of mass as a function of u. The source will be having this velocity. Able to understand the methodology here. Okay, now the path difference. In delta x2, delta x1. Which ray will cover more path before slits, the ray 2. The ray 2 will cover more path before slits compared to ray 1. So therefore, what is the net path difference? The net path difference should be equal to delta x2 plus delta x1. So what is delta x2 should be equal to d sine theta. Delta x1 should be equal to d a by L. So this will become tan theta. The reason for that, d very much greater than small d. Theta will become very small, so tan theta it will be. So this should be equal to delta x. So dy by capital D, dA by L. We are interested in position of central maxima. N lambda so what is YCN? It should be equal to A capital D by small l into it. This let me differentiate. So how it will be directed? Vertically down. Along the screen, vertically down. At that instant, the velocity of the center of mass will be du by capital L. Oh, sorry, du by small l. What is L? L is the distance of the source from the slits. No, some interference in thin films is what we have. So a ray is incident from air on a first film of refractiveness mu1 and thickness t1. So here the ray will undergo, let angle of incidence be very small. Let's assume normal incidence. So I will be very small. So the ray will undergo refraction. Let me give different colors. It'll be a part of ray will be reflected, a part of ray will be transmitted. So the transmitted ray, this will be a reflected ray, and this will be a transmitted ray. So again here, okay, now what will happen to the next part of the ray? So again, a ray will be, a part of ray will be reflected, a part will be transmitted. Transmitted, let me show like this. Now finally what will emerge? A part of ray will be transmitted and the remaining ray will be reflected. Okay, I'm bothered about now these set of rays. Okay, let's begin like this. What is the phase of this incident ray? 0. It is reflected by a denser medium. So what should be the phase of this? The phase of this should be pi radian. Why pi radian? Why this is pi radian? Because the incident ray is reflected by a denser medium, this air, and this is mu1. Mu1 is greater than 1. So therefore the reflected ray will have a phase change of pi radian. Getting this one. The refracted ray, there won't be phase change. Will be phase of this will be 0 only. Any reason for that? We know due to refraction, no phase change. Due to transmission, no phase change. Again, if I put mu2 greater than mu1, if mu2 greater than mu1, again, this particular ray is reflected by a denser medium. So the phase change of this will be pi radian. Due to transmission, no phase change. Why this should be pi? If mu2 greater than mu, if mu2 less than mu1, this will be 0 because the ray will be reflected by rarer medium. Now, since mu2 greater than mu1, this ray will have a phase change of pi radian. No, again, come for this. Here reflected by rarer medium, so this will have a phase change, no phase change. Due to transmission, there should not be any phase change. Now, look at the ray A and B. Why A and B are not parallel? Because the surface will be rough, will not be smooth because the surface is rough. So A and B will not be parallel. As the interface, A and B will not be parallel. So therefore, no superposition of A and B will take place. What is A? Reflected by the A air and the first film, the film 1, the film 2. So ray is what? Ray A is reflected by the air film 1 boundary, and the ray B is what? Reflected by the interface of film 1 and 2. The rays A and B undergo superposition. Then what is the path difference? The ray B will cover additional path of, so how much of additional path it will cover? 2 mu, it will cover a distance T1 plus T1, 2T1, where in first film, so optical path and 2 mu1 T1, optical path length will be 2 mu1 T1. Got this? No. What is the phase difference between them? Due to reflection. Okay, the net phase. Okay, we'll write it like a due to path. Let me elaborate. the total path difference between the rays will be due to path difference traversed by the ray B in the film 2 and due to reflection. This is will be 2 mu1 T1. Due to reflection, pi minus pi will be 0 for constructive interference. What be the thickness? Thickness should be 2 mu1 by n lambda. Put n equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. For destructive interference, so n will take values 1, 2, 3, and 4. If mu2 less than mu1, the conditions will become reverse. If mu2 less than v1 mu1, no, the conditions will be reversed. This will be condition for constructive, this will be condition for destructive. This will be condition for constructive interference, this will be condition for destructive. Since mu2 greater than mu1, okay, we will get like this here. Getting the picture? I'll take the next one. Now, in the interference phenomena, if the width of the slit is doubled, you can see that one. I'll increase what is the width of lower slit R, what is the width of upper slit to R. Now, how the intensity and the slit width are proportional, directly proportional. Intensity is directly proportional to width of slit. If this is I naught, what do we expect here? 2 I naught. Where the central maxima will be here. Okay, this will be the position of central maxima. The position of central maxima will not change. Central maxima, let me indicate by red color. Okay, then we'll see what happens to intensity step. So what is I max? Should be equal to root 2 I naught plus I naught whole square. This should be equal to root 2 plus 1 whole square I naught. What about I minimum? Okay, this will be the position of I minimum. So do you get complete dark band? Complete darkness will not be there. So what is the minimum intensity? Is not 0. So on the screen, complete darkness will not be there. So will the pattern will be distinct? No, pattern will not be distinct. Very difficult to notice the pattern because the minimum intensity is not 0. If minimum is 0, it will be easy for us to notice the patterns. Pattern will not be distinct. Okay, now, so that this idea is very important. The intensity is directly proportional to width of slit. Okay, there's another one. YDSC with the white light. A white light will illuminate the slits. Then what happened to the pattern, interference pattern on the screen? Okay, now before that we'll go for VibGuard. So and we know why we equal to n lambda v by capital D. Let me pick up only few colors, violet, then I'll pick up the yellow and red. Position of yellow given by this, position of red. So from the data, the first order violet. So what be the how the pattern at the center of on the screen. So we are going to get a pattern. So at the center, what we get, we'll get a minima. Also like central magma. It should be a white light. A white band will be noticed here. Then afterwards, what we'll get, we'll start with a violet. I think I have a color. Violet, then yellow, then we'll get the red. So again will violet. Second order, this will be red. So this will be V1, Y1, R1, V2, Y2, R2. There's a chances that this violet may overlap with other colors. The second order violet may overlap with the red color. It all depends upon the values. I'm just showing the pattern. And the pattern will be symmetric. The pattern will be symmetric here. So like this, what happened? When a white light is incident on a slit, if it illuminate the slit, we'll get a color pattern on the screen and the central white band. What is this? This is called as a central white band. Will be formed on the axis. And the colored pattern will be there on this one. So first order rainbow, second order rainbow. So we can call this as like a first order, second order, second or third order rainbow will be formed on the screen. What is one more thing? Due to overlap of colors, there may other color combinations will come. Okay, I'm not bothered about that one. I'm not stressing that one. Actually, here the third order violet will overlap with the some order of yellow, maybe third order violet may overlap with the some the like is second order green, then violet plus green. Okay, due to because of that inter some other color will come. I'm just showing some a qualitative discussion about the just order of interference. Overlap of colors will also take place. Overlapping of colors, overlapping of different order may take place. Okay, fine. There's a thing. Okay, let's go for now. Suppose if the source, you look at the way the data is given, the distance between the slit and screen is not something very much larger than this distance between the slits what earlier we did. It is some sort of comparable. This is 4D, this is 5D. A source is kept at a distance 3D here. Then how that interference phenomena, now a ray emitted by source will incident on slit S1. Let's say I just wanted order of interference at this point. Then what is the path difference of the rays arriving at this particular point on the axis? On the axis. So path difference of the rays before slits. So before slits, this ray will cover a distance 3D. What about this distance will be 5D? From calculation, SS1 equal to 5D because this distance is how much 4D. This is 3D. So therefore this distance will be 5D. So what is the path difference? Path difference before slits, path difference after slit minus path difference before slits, or path difference after slits is 0. So what is that? S2P minus S1P. Path difference before slits is 5D minus 3D. This should be equal to n lambda 0 2D. Okay, fine. So this condition will decide where the central maxima will be. Central maxima will come below. You should not talk about what is central maxima. It's a point where the path difference. So the central maxima will come above. So we should not talk about like similar to YDCA. Don't bring tan theta, sine theta, that one. Just simple analysis. So put n equal to 1, put n equal to 2. You'll get the order of interference there. Okay, now we'll take the some examples of like Huygens theory. So what we in the beginning of chapter we learned Huygens wave theory. Okay, let's take some examples related to Huygens wave nature. Suppose there's a mirror. I'll let the wavefront be incident on it. How the reflected wavefront will be. And according to Huygens theory, so angle of incidence should be called angle of reflection. So the reflected wavefront, let me show the wavefront by green color one. This will be the reflected wave. If a point source is kept nearby a plane mirror, S will get a reflector. The image will be formed, no? So there's a wavefront. Now, similarly, if a plane wavefront is incident, plane wavefront. So what do you mean by plane wavefront? How it will be? This will be the wavefront. And this will be the direction of propagation. So after reflection, what will happen to the wave? Just it will be reflected as a plane wavefront. Incident wave, this will be a reflected wave. This is a reflected wave. This is an incident wave. Okay, let's go for concave mirror. If there's a concave mirror, let this be the axis, principal axis. A plane wavefront is incident. Wavefront, let me show by green color. What is red color arrow? Direction of propagation of light. What about this green color one? They are the wavefront. The plane wavefront is the incident on concave mirror. After reflection, what will happen? Now, when there's like a parallel beam of light, after reflection, the rays, what happens, should pass to the focus. So the image will be formed at the focus. So how the wavefront? The wavefront should be like this. Getting the idea now? So what is this? This will be incident wavefront. Incident plane wavefront. This is a reflected spherical wavefront. Okay, there's a concave. Let's see for convex mirror what conditions will come. Convex mirror, what conditions will come? A plane wavefront is incident. The incident plane wavefront. What about the reflected wavefront? So there's the incident plane wavefront. What about the reflected wavefronts? Okay, we'll take the diagram. We know if a ray is incident parallel to principal, after reflection, it should pass through the, it should diverge from the focus. So the wavefront, it should diverge from the focus here. If there's a focus, got the idea? No. This will be the reflected wavefront. Okay, this is for convex mirror. This is one set. Or we'll push it to the lower part. Why to? The diagram will become neat for you to understand. Hope everyone is able to understand. So this is related to convex mirror. What we did earlier is related to a concave mirror, then plane mirror. So this you write it concave. This is a diagrammatic way of showing the wavefront. Actually, we are supposed to work out using mass. I'm just showing the diagram. Like if a Huygens wave theory is applicable, even for reflection also is what this diagrams they demonstrate. No, similarly concave mirror, if for concave mirror, let me introduce a condition. Suppose if this is F, we know this will be center of curvature. If object is here, where the image, so the image is something. How do we show wavefront? So again, the same idea. So from here, the waves. These are the incident wavefronts. Fine. The reflected wavefront I'll show by some other color needed. I'll show by this color. So the reflected wave should converge at this point. Okay, the red color arrow will give the direction of so what is this green color one? Incident wavefront. And what about these are reflected wavefront. This will be reflected, and this is a concave mirror. Okay, for lens, we'll take it. Convex lens. If a ray is incident, if a plane wavefront is incident, then after refraction, what would happen to that wavefront? The arrows are the direction of path of the green color line, vertical lines are the wavefront. So they're the convex lens. So the wavefront, now what are this? They're the incident, and there's a refracted wavefront. Just ray diagram, perpendicular to the path of the ray, there should be a wavefront if you come in other way. So what is this red color? Path of ray. What about this? Reflected wavefront or refracted wavefront. Similarly for diverging beam, select for diverging lens, there's a convex lens. So let's take the diverging lens. So it should diverge away from a point, no? So therefore this the ray will be okay. This should be the this is the diverging lens or concave lens. Incident wavefront, refracted wavefront. Okay, like this, we can explain the Huygens wave principle even for reflection and refraction also, not only just only to produce the sources. Hmm? Okay, got this. So this is about the discussion what we had in today's class. Hmm? Okay, let me wind up the class. Okay, thank you all of you. So try to revise all the concepts of wave optics. So we had so many good discussions about the different types of numericals. So we started with Huygens wave theory. Then after that, what happened? We went to the demonstration of Huygens wave theory, then YDAC experiment, then the YDAC applications, then the different types of the interference phenomena with point sources, then with mirrors, Lloyd's mirror, then thin films, then billet lens, then the Fresnel biprism, Fresnel's mirror. Hmm. So these are the different things are there. So you are supposed to work out the different types of numericals available. Of course, it'll be very vast. Hmm. So try to practice some good number of numericals from various textbooks. So that will help you to boost your confidence. Okay, I'll upload, if time permits, I'll upload the few more numericals related to this wave optics. Okay, thank you all of you.